Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and today we're going to look at how the whole world should change because one person got their little feelings hurt. I used to get really annoyed by those crosses on the side of the road where somebody had died in an accident. I guess I understand why people put them there. But were they really necessary? Do we really need to memorialize everywhere somebody died? That's what cemeteries are for. To me, it just seemed like a cheap way to force your issues onto everybody else. And that's kind of what's happening here today. Chris Plante, executive editor and co-founder of Polygon, got upset while playing Rage 2. And because he was personally offended by this, everything should have changed. I was first made aware of this because of this tweet.
The article from Plante is well written. It highlights Rage 2, their use of disfigured mutant humans as bad guys, and how that makes him feel uncomfortable. The comments are atrocious, full of gamers mocking him for extremely personal feelings that many share.
A controversy about personal feelings that many gamers share? Oh, this should be good. Anytime you hear about feelings in a news article, you just know it's going to be stupid.
Rage 2 is a fun game that makes me feel like garbage.
I'm not going to lie, that's a really good clickbaity headline. When I first read this article, I was dying to know how a game you actually like could make you feel horrible. And the opening line of the article is just as intriguing.
Every time I begin to enjoy Rage 2, it finds a new way to treat me like shit.
See, I told you. Don't you want to know what's wrong with this guy? What keeps happening to him while he's playing a game? Like the game stops and cusses him out or something? Tells him what a horrible person he is? It's not quite that deep.
There's a lot of individual bits I've liked in Bethesda's new post-apocalyptic shooter, created by the open-world geniuses at Avalanche Studios and the gunplay experts at ID Software. And I have no doubt we will be unpacking what makes its open-world click in the coming days, if not weeks. But never has a game so personally, directly bummed me out.
Holy hell, man! Does this game need to come with a suicide warning? What is it doing to this poor guy?
Last summer, I had a chance to talk with ID Software studio director Tim Willits about Rage 2. After a relatively straightforward interview running through the game's grab bag of inspirations, the conversation shifted to something more personal. My birth defect and how the game presented it as a crude joke. Rage 2's publisher Bethesda had just revealed a $119.99 collector's edition that would come with a talking, robotic bust of Ruckus the Crusher, one of the game's many Goliath mutants. Like all the other Crushers in the game, Ruckus has a gash running from the top of its upper lip through its nose, as if his face didn't fully form at birth. The mutation, I explained to Willits, looks like an exaggerated cleft lip and cleft palate.
Oh dear God, that's what we're talking about? You're upset because a mutant has a feature that you were born with? A mutation you were born with? They're mutants, for God's sake. What in the hell do you expect them to look like? Normal people? Would you be upset with blind mutants, mutants with no eyes or ears, mutants with any other mutation that people are born with? Yeah, it sucks that you were born that way. Sorry, bud, but it happens. You should be thanking any god you believe in that there's medical technology that can take care of it. Instead, you're getting your feelings hurt while playing a goddamn video game. Are you serious?
The original Rage used similar imagery for its mutants, and I told Willits how disappointing I felt to see the sequel following the same path. Fiction has long associated clefts with both villainy and mental health disorders, and it appeared the Rage franchise would perpetuate this cruel, damaging misrepresentation to a broad audience. Willits, to his credit, was receptive to the feedback.
He goes on to quote an interview he did with Willits. I'm not going to make you sit through it, but it is on the screen. You can pause it if you'd like to, or the story will be linked below. Basically, he confronts the guy with the idea that it's insensitive to have mutants with a cleft palate. Willits responds that they will try to be a little more sensitive, which is only important because our author is going to whine about it a little later on.
I've now played a significant amount of Rage 2, and I have to wonder if Willits forgot to have that conversation. Or if that conversation was had, was it closer to a cost-benefit analysis? Will enough potential players be upset to warrant the investment in improving these character designs? I can now say with certainty that the Avalanche guys have not been very good about being a little more sensitive. Or perhaps Willits meant little more in a literal sense, as in they've made the smallest effort. Rage 2's use of cleft lip and palette imagery in the final game is worse than I expected, and certainly worse than its predecessor. I already mentioned the Crushers, who are both recurring bosses and environmental hazards, each of them with an identical facial design.
I can't speak for Willits, I don't know the guy. But if it were me, and you came at me with that crap, I would have probably humored you for a little bit, and then I would have went back and did my job. His job is to make a fun game, which you've already told us he did. Your entire complaint is about cosmetics, which is really stupid. He goes on to tell us about an experience where he walked through a sticky nightclub. I'm not exactly sure what a sticky nightclub is, but if you ever go into one, I recommend condoms and rain boots. Anyway, as he goes through this place, instead of posters being on the wall, there's the mounted heads of mutants, which he says means the mutants aren't even human. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point of the game. They are no longer human. They've been mutated to the point where they're not. But even worse than just being mutants, they're the mutants with the cleft palates. I'm not making this up. That's what he's upset about. I'm going to tell you guys something you probably don't want to hear. You're really not that important. Your problems really aren't that important. Neither are mine. In the grand scheme of things, we're just individuals. And our problems don't need to be the world's problems. We don't need to change everything around us because of something that is personally happening to us. It's rather arrogant to even see the world that way. One of the worst examples of this comes every April 1st. Suddenly, all over Facebook and Twitter and whatever other social media you use, you'll see posts telling people that it's not funny to pretend to be pregnant because there are people out there who can't get pregnant or people out there who've had miscarriages. How dare you try to make a funny joke about that? How dare you pretend to be pregnant when you're not? Fuck right off. Look, bad shit happens to people all the time. We don't need to change video games or stop making jokes because something happened to you. You are not that important. I feel sorry for this guy. I feel sorry for anybody who's born with any birth defect. But I really feel sorry for him that he's this goddamn sensitive. Although I bet that makes writing for Polygon a lot easier. Now, if you remember back to the tweet that started all of this, the author of that tweet mentioned how horrible the comments were on this article. I'm assuming Polygon cleaned it up because there's only 4 comments on there right now, and all of them are positive, including these 2.
What a bummer. Between this, Bethesda's attacks, rebuffs on the press, and Bethesda's list of miscues over the past couple years, I will definitely be voting with my wallet on this one. Hard pass.
Amen.
Look, you can spend your money any way you want to. It's your money. But are you kidding me? The guy told you the game was fun, and you're going to skip it because he got offended over the cleft lips on the mutants. What are you looking for in a game? I've played a lot of video games, and I can't remember a single one where I was like, ooh, that's offensive, I can't play that. That woman's titties are too big, or that guy's penis is too small. I don't know what game that would be, but I don't understand the idea that you're going to stop playing a video game or not play a video game because somebody got their feelings hurt about how mutants look. What the fuck world are we living in? The mutants aren't based on the author of this article. They also have giant heads and 4 chins and big bodies. You're talking about one small detail, and you're going to not play that game, a game you've been told is fun, by the same damn author because of that little thing. It's your money, but if you like video games, that's really, really stupid. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this one. The rest of this video is going to be shilling, so if you don't want to hear that, thank you so much for watching. For everyone else, I do a lot of streaming, and here's where you can find me. Monday through Saturday, you can find me on Lords of the Night, which rotates between my channel, Scribe Light's channel, and Satsu 2 Cents channel. On Mondays and Thursdays, we're on Satsu's channel. Tuesdays and Fridays, we're on Scribe's channel. And Wednesdays and Saturdays, we're right here. Catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Links for each channel are in the description. You can also find me gaming with Satsu over on his channel, 2 Cents Plus. We do that Friday through Monday after Lords of the Night, usually about 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Finally, you can find me on Monkey in the Morning, usually around 2 a.m., which you can find right here on this channel. We have a lot of fun doing those shows, and I hope to see you there. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you know when they go live. You can also support the channel through Patreon or Streamlabs linked below. It's also a merchandise store if you'd like to look really cool in some monkey gear. YouTube's also being kind of a cunt with my videos lately, so if you'd share this, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Ranting Monkey, and I'll see you next time.
Every time I begin to enjoy Rage 2, it finds a new way to treat me like shit.
Your life makes me sad.